What was it really like to live along the banks of the Nile over 3,000 years ago? This captivating question sets the stage for our journey into the past, as we unveil the daily life of ancient Egypt. This video will dive deep into the day-to-day activities of the ancient Egyptians, from the commoners trading in the bustling marketplaces and tending to the tranquil farmlands, to the elite basking in the grandeur of their monumental structures. We will uncover the types of work they engaged in, the food that they relished, the clothing that adorned them, and how they spent their leisure time. Join us as we traverse the sands of time to explore the daily life of an ancient Egyptian and uncover how their beliefs shaped their daily routines. The social structure of ancient Egypt was as firm and wide-reaching as its grand pyramids. The pharaoh was the pinnacle, the gleaming golden capstone of this societal pyramid. More than a mere mortal, the pharaoh was a divine intermediary, a bridge between humanity and the gods, whose decrees were absolute and reflected his unparalleled societal status. Below the pharaoh, the priests and nobles were influential figures. The priests catered to the spiritual necessities of the populace and upheld the sanctity of the temples. Concurrently, the nobles, either related to the or individuals who had achieved favor, assisted in governance and reveled in their opulent, influential lives. Further down the pyramid, the scribes, artisans, and soldiers held crucial roles. The scribes and artisans were custodians of knowledge, recording everything from divine orders to commerce, and crafting Egypt's renowned art and culture. Soldiers were the protective barrier of Egypt, guarding its territories and enforcing the pharaoh's rule. Further still, the farmers and slaves made up the majority of the population. Farmers cultivated the fertile banks of the Nile, nourishing millions and establishing Egypt's breadbasket. Slaves, often war captives' debtors, fulfilled the most laborious jobs under watchful eyes of their masters. Each layer of the pyramid, each class of society had distinct roles, responsibilities, and living conditions. This societal structure was about more than mere division. It was about the creation of a synergy that operated at peak efficiency, with each individual fulfilling their role to keep Egypt functioning smoothly. Social mobility was a rarity, but not impossibility. Certain roles, particularly those of scribes and soldiers, presented opportunities for individuals to elevate status. However, for the majority, their social class determined their daily life and opportunities. Whether one was a pharaoh in a golden chariot or a farmer along the Nile, their societal role was instrumental in shaping their life in ancient Egypt. The life of the hard-working peasant and laborer of ancient Egypt was inseparably linked to the rhythm of the Nile. The agrarian society centered itself along the fertile banks of this life-giving river. Laborers rose with the dawn, wielding rudimentary tools to till the land and sow seeds such as wheat and barley. Their work schedules were dictated by the ebb and flow of the Nile, a river that gave more than it took. The cyclical flooding of the Nile was not merely a natural event, but a phenomenon of deep significance. It enriched the soil with fertile sediment, promising bountiful harvests and driving the agricultural timetable of these diligent workers. In the mighty shadows of the Grand Pyramids, laborers tirelessly dedicated themselves to massive state projects. Each stone block of these awe-inspiring structures carried the mark of their sweat and toil, symbolizing their relentless determination and effort. The skilled artisans of ancient Egypt, including potters, weavers, and jewelers, worked with precision and zeal, crafting intricate pottery, textiles, and jewelry. The fruits of their labor served purpose. They contributed to daily life and played a pivotal role in the grandeur of temples and the pharaoh's tomb. Each piece bore the mark of their skill and devotion, speaking volumes of their considerable talent and commitment. The scribes, marked by their fluent knowledge of hieroglyphs, were the backbone of ancient Egypt's administration. Their meticulous recording of taxes, laws, and official documents was instrumental in ensuring smooth governance. Meanwhile, amidst the majestic temples, priests held a highly revered position in society. Their sacred responsibilities included managing the temples, conducting religious rituals, and maintaining the spiritual balance. Their profound respect for the gods echoed in every act, their elevated status testament to the crucial role they played in ancient Egypt's civilization. The typical diet of an Egyptian was deeply rooted in the products of their fertile plains, a gift from the life-giving Nile. Bread, made from the abundant wheat and barley, was not just food, but a symbol of sustenance. The Egyptians also had a unique affinity for beer, often referred to as the gift of the Nile. brewed in their own homes. The menu was further enriched with an array of vegetables, including onions, leeks, and garlic, and the sweetness in their meals was courtesy of dates and figs. Protein was sourced from the plentiful fish in the Nile. However, this culinary landscape wasn't uniform for everyone. While the staples of grains, vegetables, and fish were commonly consumed by all, the wealthy enjoyed a more diverse palate, with access to meat and wine. The preparation of meals was a communal task, and the act of dining extended beyond just nourishment. It was a time for social interactions and expressing gratitude for the Nile's blessings. The River Nile, central to their agricultural practices, offered fertile land ideal for growing crops such as wheat and barley, critical components of their diet. This exploration into the dietary habits of the ancient Egyptians reveals their ingenious adaptation to their environment and how they thrived while making optimal use of available resources. The cultural tapestry of ancient Egypt was not simply influenced by their complex belief system, but also by their distinct fashion and beautification traditions, which were indicative of their social order. The common thread in ancient Egyptians' clothing was linen, a fabric of choice given the country's hot and dry conditions. Nonetheless, the style and complexity of these linen attires differed greatly. For the common populace, the clothing was rather plain, often just a basic loincloth or an unpretentious dress. In contrast, the affluent class sported more complex garments, embellished with intricately fashioned pleats and folds. Wigs, another crucial facet of the ancient Egyptian attire, held more than just a decorative purpose. These hairpieces were significant markers of status and were sported by both genders. They were often crafted from various materials like human hair, plant fibers, or sheep's wool, and the level of ornamentation of the wig was a direct indicator of the wearer's societal standing. Further enhancing their appearance, ancient Egyptians' use of makeup, which was a widespread practice regardless of gender. A key cosmetic was kohl eyeliner, typically sourced from galena or malachite. This was not just a beauty enhancer, but also served as a shield against the harsh desert sun. Jewelry, too, played a significant role in their attire, doubling as symbols of wealth, authority, and religious piety. Be it complex necklaces, stylish bracelets, or prominent the materials employed, the craftsmanship, and the intricacy of the designs all communicated the social rank of the wearer. Beyond fashion, the ancient Egyptians also accorded great importance to cleanliness in their day-to-day life. Scented oils and perfumes were regularly used, serving not just as a means to mask body odors in the high temperatures, but also playing significant roles in religious ceremonies, medicinal practices, and even mummification. In conclusion, each aspect of the ancient Egyptians' attire, from their linen clothes to their kohl-lined eyes, mirrored their societal hierarchy, their religious convictions, and their refined aesthetics. Their hygiene habits, too, reflected their progressive understanding of cleanliness and its significance. In ancient Egypt, the disparity between the social classes was quite apparent when it came to their homes. While the farmers resided in modest mud brick abodes, the nobility luxuriated in grand villas. The homes of the farmers were humble, usually a single room where the family engaged in all aspects of life, living, working, and sleeping. Sun-dried mud bricks were the material of choice, leading to flat that served as additional workspace for activities such as grain grinding or fruit drying. On the other hand, the nobles' homes were constructed of stone, a mark of wealth and permanence. They boasted multiple rooms and verdant gardens, with the walls bedecked in intricate frescoes and hieroglyphics. Furniture, albeit basic, was common in all homes. Stools, beds, and storage chests were the staples, crafted from wood and featuring a simple design. For the nobles, the furniture could be more decorative with intricate carvings and sometimes inlaid with ivory or gold. To add a touch of comfort to the hard floors, mats or rugs woven from reeds were used for sitting or sleeping. Family was the cornerstone of ancient Egyptian society, with a structure that was typically nuclear, comprised of parents and their children. Extended family members could also be part of the household. Marriage was primarily an economic agreement, often orchestrated by the parents, but it was also founded on mutual consent. In these family units, roles were distinctly defined. Men, as the primary breadwinners, worked in fields or took up other occupations. Women, on the contrary, centered their activities around the home, taking care of children and managing household duties. However, their rights were acknowledged as they could own and inherit property, and some even held significant positions in temples and the royal court. Children were deeply cherished, and their upbringing involved a holistic approach, integrating practical skills and moral values. This defined structure, from their homes to their family units, was a clear reflection of the ancient Egyptian societal hierarchy and cultural ethos. While the intense labor of the ancient Egyptians might have marked their days, it was their passion for leisure and festive activities that truly colored their life. Despite their reputation as stoic builders of pyramids and followers of pharaohs, they were also enthusiasts of a multitude of recreational. Among these, board games were a crowd favorite, with Senet, a game of passing, standing out a beloved diversion. It was a game that transcended social boundaries, drawing participants from all walks of life. Aside from their love for board games, the ancient Egyptians also indulged in more hands-on, adrenaline-fueled activities. Hunting expeditions were not uncommon, with people often setting out on thrilling chases. Similarly, the bountiful Nile offered opportunities for fishing, while wrestling matches became a stage for demonstrating strength and skill. But physical activities weren't the only of joy for these people. The cultural palette of the ancient Egyptians was rich and diverse, with music and dance holding pivotal positions. These forms of expression weren't just means of entertainment, but were deeply intertwined with their cultural and religious rituals. The rhythmic pulsations of the sistrum, a musical instrument, and the expressive gestures of their dances were ways to in life through art. Festivals, too, were integral to Egyptian life, often providing much-needed respite from their daily labor. Among these, the Opet festival was one of the most significant. This grand event was a time of joyous celebration, with the entire community congregating to honor the gods and revel in the festivities. All these recreational activities, be it the thrill of a Senet game, the vibrancy of a dance, or the unity of a festival, brought joy and relaxation to the ancient Egyptians, striking a harmonious balance between their hard work and periods of leisure and celebration. In the heart of ancient Egypt, every single day was drenched in the divine. It was as if the very air they breathed was imbued with religious significance. The Egyptians' worldview was such that their deities were intricately connected to the elements of nature, the tasks they performed on a daily basis, and the roles they played within their society. This created a spiritual scaffold that held up their entire existence. The sun god, Ra, for instance, was revered not just for his formidable power, but the everyday phenomena of sunrise and sunset were seen as his actions, orchestrating the rhythm of work and rest. The agricultural deity Osiris was deeply entwined with the cycle of crop, symbolizing fertility and abundance. Meanwhile, the goddess Mot was seen as the personification of societal norms and justice. Religious observance was a day-to-day routine, punctuated with rituals that were performed in grandiose temples as well as modest household shrines. The temples, imposing structures along the Nile, served as the epicenter of religious activities, where specially trained priests orchestrated ceremonies to satiate the gods and maintain the cosmic equilibrium. Simultaneously, within the confines of their homes, Egyptians maintained their personal sanctuaries, making individual offerings and prayers to their chosen deities. The concept of the afterlife, too, was a potent force that shaped everyday existence in ancient Egypt. It influenced their perspective on death and the practices associated with burials, as preparations for the afterlife were deemed a crucial aspect of life itself. The splendor of the pyramids and the intricate tombs of the pharaohs were not simply a testament to their might, but also reflected their deeply ingrained belief in the voyage of the soul post-death. Hence, the enduring legacy of ancient Egypt is not just in its monumental structures or the grandeur of its rulers, but in the rich spiritual life of its people, their beliefs, rituals, and practices. As we journey back to our time, we carry with us the remnants of an ancient civilization whose spiritual heartbeat continues to fascinate us, millennia. In the intricate society of ancient Egypt, literacy was a highly coveted attribute, a unique capability that could propel an individual's social status and grant access to esteemed roles. Predominantly, it was the male offspring from affluent households who were bestowed with the opportunity to ascend to the role of scribes, the educated elite of the Egyptian society. These boys would embark on their learning journey quite early, around the tender ages of 5 or 6, in educational institutions often affiliated with temples or bureaucratic hubs. Their academic syllabus was demanding and encompassed the study of hieroglyphics, the sophisticated writing system of ancient Egypt, as well as mathematics. These academic pursuits could stretch out for as long as 10 years, during which the pupils would diligently reproduce religious manuscripts, mathematical problems, and administrative documents to hone their abilities. Writing in ancient Egypt was not merely a method of communication. It was a crucial instrument in administration, facilitating the recording of goods inflow and outflow, maintaining an account of the workforce, and documenting legal affairs. Absence of scribes have inevitably caused the intricate mechanism of the Egyptian empire to come to a standstill. Furthermore, scribes served as the guardians of history. They diligently chronicled significant occurrences, royal orders, and religious ceremonies, thereby becoming the voice of the civilization's narrative. Their records, whether penned on papyrus scrolls or engraved onto shrine walls, offer us a glimpse into bygone eras, aiding us in deciphering the enigma of this ancient civilization. However, literacy was a rarity, largely confined to the upper echelons of society, the pharaohs, priests, and officials. For the vast majority comprising farmers, craftsmen, or laborers, literacy was deemed unnecessary and was beyond their grasp. This exclusivity of literacy further underscored the significance and authority of scribes in ancient Egypt. Therefore, as we journey further into the intricacies of ancient Egypt, we understand that the scribes, armed with their reed pens and papyrus scrolls, were not just mere writers. They were the oil that allowed the machinery of the empire to operate seamlessly, the chroniclers of history and the custodians of knowledge. If you've enjoyed this journey into the heart of ancient Egypt, rest assured, there's so much more to explore. Here at History Documentary Hub, we delve deep into the annals of history, unraveling the enigma of ancient civilizations, their cultures, their politics, their people. We invite you to be a part of this exciting adventure. Subscribe to our channel, join our growing community of history enthusiasts, and never miss an episode. Your subscription helps us continue to produce high-quality, in-depth content like this. And we want to hear from you. Do you have a question about the ancient Egyptian civilization? Or perhaps there's another period or culture you'd like us to explore in an upcoming video? Drop your suggestions and queries in the comments section below. We're always excited to hear what our viewers are interested in. Lastly, if you found this video enlightening, why not share it with your friends or fellow history buffs? Sharing our videos helps us reach out to more people who share our passion for history. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of history, one documentary at a time. Thanks for watching.